Lovable. For Green Lantern than lovable rogue Nathan Fillion. Significantly. This appears significantly more monolithic than it did on my laptop. Weave. I can practically smell the lotus blossoms woven into your ebony hair. Destination. To a destination, not an object. As in, land. Ho. Satisfying. This has a much more satisfying meat to bun to condiment ratio. Illness. Not the kind of illness that will make her want to come over and take care of me. Slavery. We've been talking about the origins of slavery. Satisfaction. And never know if you're going to finally get satisfaction? Tangent. What part of inverse tangent function approaching an asymptote did you not understand? Further. Penny. Just to save you from further awkwardness. Meaningful. Because you're afraid if you give me anything meaningful to do. Discipline. Where scientists of different disciplines get together. Postulate. I would postulate that she's escaping into the online world. Bicycle. They don't wear bicycle helmets in Game of Thrones. Landlord. Sheldon. When is your landlord going to fix the elevator? Chaos. Chaos theory suggests that even in a deterministic system, reinstate. If you're willing to reinstate the roommate agreement, rethink. I am starting to rethink the flash onishi I bought this kid. Omelette. Which is why I keep an omelette pan in the trunk of my car. Slaughter. And slaughtered every last one of them. So. Proton. And solve the dark matter proton decay problem at the same time. Swimsuit. And start getting ready for swimsuit season. Lung. Has lung cancer and is tormented by the spirits of the undead. Stature. Endowment is disproportionate to my physical stature. Necklace. Yeah, she's gonna make him a little necklace. Saying. Well, you know the old saying, pasty and frail never fail. Groundbreaking. If the answer is metal, it's not exactly groundbreaking. Absence. As criticism of the job you've been doing in his absence. Abort. How could you not put in an abort? Substantial. I've made substantial contributions to my field. Hollow. And the hollowed out buttocks of a superhero action figure. Promising. Well, alright, but I don't see this as a promising endeavor. Ribbon. There's a red ribbon tied to the handle. Rectum. Is proof that the rectum does possess the sense of taste. Declare. You realize if the military declares our research classified. Asset. I brought a lot of significant assets into the relationship. 2. Notch. And then we'll kick things up a notch and explore. Hike. And there goes our hike. Jolly. Jolly amusing. But if you don't mind. Prince. C. Papa Doc's capital idea. That's Port Au Prince. Cancer. Has lung cancer and is tormented by the spirits of the undead. Mercedes. I remember for my 16th birthday, my dad bought me a Mercedes. Swimmer. But I do appreciate you recognizing my swimmer's body. Satisfactory. Whereby a person accepts whatever available option is satisfactory. Descend. There's a rich history of brilliant minds descending into madness. Nucleus. Because you don't have a lion in your nucleus accumbens. Plural. In fact, that's the bare minimum to get to the plural weeks. Exhibit. We just got back from that exhibit of those plasticized human cadavers. Behavioral. And you are exhibiting the same secretive behavioral tics. Hose. I'm gonna hook up the garden hose, so it has running water. Barge. Sheldon. You cannot just barge in here like that. Manufacturing. We should finish optimizing the manufacturing process. Shotgun. That ain't foolin' no one. And get your shotgun. Fuzzy. I'm kind of torn between Einstein, Newton and Sergeant Fuzzy Boots. Refrigerator. And you're living in a refrigerator box and washing your hair with rainwater? Cater. But since my aunt's nursing home is catering the party, lightly, and your willingness to be lightly stabbed, briefly, I briefly considered that I had a brain parasite. Concierge. Your tickets will be at the concierge desk. Mechanical. Any chance you've finished up those mechanical drawings? Combustion. Does anybody know how to fix an internal combustion engine? Unspeakable. Do you think your father's doing unspeakable things? Anytime. You can raid my fridge anytime you want. Outstanding. Anyway, he had a bunch of outstanding tickets. GPS. GPS says we'll be at the railway in 3 hours. Apocalyptic. There are many cultures that have an apocalyptic flood. Protective. Well, if you are so protective of the scientific method. Punishment. Santa thinks dating you may be punishment enough. Cane. Armies should carry candy canes that shoot wishes. Via. The bat signal is linked to his phone via Bluetooth. Keen. Having regular intercourse. Your mind has lost its keen edge. Slit. With 2 slits in it and either slit is observed. Deploy. How are we going to deploy it in Kripke's office? Euphemism. Which I think we all know is a popular euphemism. Urinary. They can increase the risk of a urinary tract infection. Mythology. Storyline restored Joe Chill to the Batman mythology. Plague. As those that plagued Stu the cockatoo when he was new at the zoo. Constitute. Well, I assume she meant the 2 of you together would constitute a couple. Essence. To guard the life essences of the plants until spring. Mumble. Oh, Leonard mumbles it when he wants sex to last longer. Dawn. Yeah, but now he's gonna be up at dawn and want to play. Spat. But I should warn you, we're in a bit of a spat. Educational. To make our lunch hours educational and informative. Succumb. I'm sorry, are you suggesting that if we let Penny stay we might succumb to cannibalism? Grandson. Look, I get that you're protective of your grandson. Convenience. At your convenience. I'd be happy to explain it to you. Wrapper. Your favorite. In-N-Out burger out of the wrapper on a plate. Mailbox. The inside of our mailbox is under federal jurisdiction. Active. Hawaii is a former leper colony on top of an active volcano. Core. It was only to keep our core body temperatures from plummeting. Russian. Maybe we should talk to Howard. His Russian's pretty good. Tow. You can see where the tow truck scratched my car. Jingle. Well, then, you shouldn't have jingle bells on your boots. Trim. There's not a hair on my body I wouldn't let this woman trim. Nurture. If you'd like to look at the relationship between nurturing and growth. Scold. Now, while you scold us, I'm going to get a knife and a fork. Elevate. Soccer Mom 09 says to lie down with your feet elevated. Announce. Yeah, which he rudely announced on my flag show. Clinic. But the free clinic had an open spot for a colonoscopy. Behold. Or what a joy it is to behold my genitals. Description. Even though the menu description specifies shredded, crowded, forced into the crowded, sweaty hell of bouncy castles. Rejection. Will be met with an humiliating, soul-crushing rejection. Biochemical. Translates the 5 senses into biochemical information. Auction. Some guy is auctioning off a miniature time machine prop. Bull. You mess with the bull, you get the horns. Sensation. But all I feel is this gnawing, empty sensation in my gut. Transportation. But as a mode of transportation, way cooler than a Batmobile. Glorious. But as an explosion, it was glorious. Loyal. Would you call yourself a loyal and trustworthy friend? Renowned. Listen, Leonard's mom is a renowned psychiatrist. Dedicate. But I dedicated a song to her at the 9th grade talent show. Assemble. Of the least imaginative way to assemble these components. Gradually. Heroes gradually lowered the quality season by season. Playhouse. I wish I had a playhouse like this when I was a kid. Hoot. But I thought it was a hoot and a half. Honorary. Pope John Paul II was named an honorary Harlem Globetrotter. Unclear. Howard. Look this over and tell me what's unclear to you. Bunk. Some bunk beds and invite the black-eyed peas. Corpse. We had some pretty hot corpses in my anatomy class. Friction. But not so deep as to introduce a new source of friction. Warranty. But once you open the box, you've voided the warranty. Dope. I'm gonna marry a dope and have his dopey children. Korea. During which she defected to North Korea. Cord. You tried to latch yourself to the seat with bungee cords? Waffle. It's like the chicken and waffles of orthography. Unresolved. But then, you always did have that unresolved Oedipal complex. Worship. It's different. Your people don't worship locks. Scotch. But touching Scotch tape gives me the heebie-jeebies. Distraction. By isolating himself from the distractions of day-to-day life. Visual. That an action potential is seen by the visual cortex. Lava. By the rapid cooling of magnesium and iron-rich lava. Literature. She loves medieval literature. Chaucer's her favorite. Branch. It's a branch of philosophy related to linguistics. Crocodile. If you run into crocodiles, just kick them with your boots. Briefcase. Carrying his samples in a briefcase instead of his colon. Starch. Staleness is caused by crystallization of the starch molecules. Studio. Climbed ourselves up and thanked our studio audience. Loom. I'm sorry, Sheldon bought a loom. Funniest. Come on, Howie, that's like the funniest thing. 50. You got a 50-50 shot. Inflame. It's usually indicated for acutely inflamed hemorrhoids. Confidentiality. I'm bound by closet organizer organizee confidentiality. Loyalty. Congratulations, Leonard. You passed my secret loyalty test. Correction. Correction. That woman not only had vigorous coitus with Bert. Rank. Why don't you just go ahead and rank that number 1? Washing. You must be at least this tall to use washing machine? Milky. I don't mind getting ripped off my milky flesh. Blade. Now push your third finger along the ridge of the shoulder blade. Candidate. Dennis is a highly sought-after doctoral candidate. Depth. I want to take a one-man sub to the lowest depths of the ocean. Prey. Trust me. Kripke will fall easy prey to my psychological warfare. Desperately. I have no morals and I'm desperately lonely. Generic. Did you buy generic ketchup? Forget to rinse the sink. Professionally. You know, we've never collaborated professionally before. Novel. Do either of you ladies enjoy the novels of John Grisham? Marine. Not only do I have a deep cycle marine battery power source. Dresser. My spare glasses are in my bedroom. On my dresser. Erection. Of having a 75-year-old man with an erection climb on top of you. Moth. I can't believe you kissed my sister with moth mouth. Luminous. Don't you worry about the residual radium from the luminous dials? Contempt. Dr. Cooper. Before I find you in contempt. Dispute. There's some kind of dispute between Penny and her ex-boyfriend. Suitor. Penny's current suitor asking advice from her former suitor. Accommodate. To accommodate the increased accumulation of dead skin cells. Graphene. He figured out electron transport in graphene. Emasculate. To intellectually emasculate a dear friend of mine. Decline. The quality of dinner conversation in this apartment has declined. Peach. I'll put in on the list with peaches and felt. Womb. In the womb of a jackal and tormented by diseases. Civil. You know, civil servants have a documented propensity to, snap. So bold. Excuse me for being so bold, but I now see where Sheldon gets his smoldering good looks. Our honored daughters. While Mr. Enjoyable. I've passed many an enjoyable evening playing this game. Extract. Tapioca is extracted from the root of the plant Manihot esculenta. Asparagus. That darling little earthenware asparagus dish I've always wanted. Digestive. Well, I assume you're not referring to digestive regularity. Flank. Flank to the right behind the rocks. Dental. For a Christmas bonus and a dental plan? Alter. I believe I would like to alter the paradigm of our relationship. Frontier. It's for her surprise Frontier birthday dinner. Tampon. For example, I noticed that you purchase your tampons 1 month supply at a time. Lash. You just place it on your lashes and squeeze it closed. Stray. We're facing a far more serious problem than stray arachnids. Stable. For synthesizing a new stable super heavy element? Wrinkle. Shall we steam the wrinkles out of our wizard robes? External. The performing arts suffer from an external locus of identity. Scientifically. Who has been scientifically chosen to be your perfect mate? Ode. That's even more fun than G. Ode. Global. Global apocalypse or exciting research opportunity? Nibble. No, I don't need any fish nibbling my business. Whimsy. I think what really needs to be rescued is your sense of whimsy. Sail. I'm afraid that ship may have sailed. Donkey. Grotesque illless donkey as the other children mocked my disorientation. Tower. Where my towering intellect is used to save. Porch. Not to leave your scentsy stuff out on the porch? Bluff. Ha. Ha. She called your bluff. Sprinkle. That's like trying to ruin ice cream with chocolate sprinkles. Cloud. The strangely shaped cloud that was following you around town. Presume. Has been rediscovered after 101 years of presumed extinction. Kin. You know, you could reimburse the video store owner's next of kin. Fashioned. It looks and sounds like an old-fashioned typewriter. Resolution. Taking high-resolution digital photographs. Wednesday. You go dancing every Wednesday? Earring. He gave her a pair of diamond earrings and leased her a car. Lease. He gave her a pair of diamond earrings and leased her a car. Skilled. No one can be that attractive and this skilled at a video game. Clump. He never would have found that stupid little clump of cosmic schmutz. Rainbow. Talking about rainbows, unicorns and menstrual cramps. Startle. He startles easily. So, please, no flash photography. Underwater. Not yet, but her underwater photo shoot was an embarrassment. Ostrich. Where a man would take another man's battle ostrich. Awkwardness. Priya. If you're experiencing any tension or awkwardness. Strap. He's really just touching the strap. Pervert. How long have you been a demented sex pervert? Constructive. I'll do better than that. I'll give him constructive criticism. Spinach. How long have I had spinach in my teeth? Shuffle. To analyze shuffling patterns. Fishing. There's a dad that wants to take you on a fishing trip. Mixer. I want to go to this mixer, and I don't want to go alone. Fatty. His diet is rich in fatty deli meats. Microwave. His work in black body form and anisotropy of the cosmic microwave. Hither. I didn't put on my come hither plaid PJs for nothing. Monthly. Perhaps he's at a sensitive point in his monthly cycle. Christmas. I always thought that was some sort of after Christmas sale. Parasite. Penny could have been inspecting Raj's anal region for parasites. Dart. The ability to hold one's liquor and throw darts. Consult. How dare you invite your father without consulting me? Mini. I'm still waiting on my mini corn dogs from 2 years ago. Sting. Not long enough to erase the sting of betrayal. Differ. We postulate an alternate world that differs from ours. Enforce. Sheldon. Do you really expect to enforce this? Hunger. With a guy who's doing something about hunger in Indonesia. Menopause. Who is currently enjoying the hot flashes associated with menopause? Chaperone. The nuns always chaperoned the dances at my high school. Snuggle. I am a man of science, not someone's snuggle bunny. Dwarf. Well, why don't you just tell people you're one of the 7 dwarves? Dialogue. I assume you'd like to reopen our dialogue. Cholera. Or has she acquired a bar stool dipped in cholera? Iced. I'm thinking about making some freshly brewed iced tea. Alibi. So I've provided you with an ironclad alibi. Monday. I can't wear different pajamas, these are my Monday pajamas. Cite. Is it my fault that when the reporter cited me? Historical. Renaissance fairs aren't about historical accuracy. Lamp. Wouldn't it make a great lamp for my bedroom? Defile. I didn't defile your sister. We had a relationship. Bargain. Irene was always a slave to a good bargain when it came to clothes. Dominate. Who is dominating in the ninth frame with a career best 68? Excel. You've never excelled at anything. Snort. I don't see why you get to snort derisively and point that out. Loin. My hunger for Sheldon is stirring in my loins. Conscious. Trust me, if you were even a little conscious right now. Oral. Significantly fewer side effects than other oral contraceptives. Electrode. You stick electrodes in a rat's brain. Give him an orgasm button. Fasten. Might temporarily need fastening in the top left corner. Fellowship. I was offered a summer research fellowship at Princeton. Tune. Let's not forget it's got some really catchy tunes. Stubborn. Stubborn people who are not open to suggestions. Salty. You know, the dumplings. Pretty salty. Rave. I mean, she did recently go to that rave at the mall. Writing. Or so I've been told in writing by the head of human resources. Frightened. Sir, I have no doubt that there are things that you're frightened of. Tray. I simply came in, picked up a tray, and started working for the man. Kindergarten. My mother made me wear rubber gloves to kindergarten. Visitor. Not to mention the visitors who arrive on the dancing tongue. Safely. I think we can safely assume that all Kryptonian condiments. Passion. See, that's the kind of passion I didn't think I had. Alternative. My mom made it up as an alternative to the Girl Scouts. Athletic. In helping us recreate an actual athletic experience. Devote. No, just the work that you've devoted your entire life to. Mineral. Thanks for coming to the Mineral and Rock show with me. Armpit. So get ready for a wedding toast delivered by his armpit. Keeper. Well, I'm just glad you finally found yourself a keeper. Static. With a low coefficient of static friction. Verbal. Non-verbal signal to verify the identity of one's co-conspirators. Infer. Infer and describe the hypothetical relationship that exists between us. Russia. It must be good. It was built in Russia? Suited. Perhaps it would be kinder to play a game more suited to his abilities. Gray. Oh, yeah. That's a good-looking baby for a little gray blob. Testy. You said that with the testy bark of an old biddy. Renaissance. I'm sorry, I am not going back to the Renaissance fair. Delay. It can delay your body from going into labor. Useless. You've done since you've been here completely useless. Genuine. So that the laughter was genuine when the show would air. Correspond. We've been corresponding for years about our mutual interest in. Worthwhile. That I'm the only one who hasn't done anything worthwhile. Consolation. If it's any consolation, I'm not happy about it either. Substance. It's useful for calculating the number of atoms in a substance. Measurement. If we connect it to the measurement problem in quantum mechanics. Cotton. Well, hey, it's not like cotton candy comes out of you. Flaunt. To flaunt her sexuality in order to get ahead. Straw. If you had your own straw, I might have said yes. Showcase. Why don't you tell me about your showcase last night? Gathering. In social gathering places such as bars or taverns. Mutually. There are a number of mutually owned items in this apartment. Tobacco. The monkey in my tobacco study has taken to smoking a pipe. Murderer. They could be murderers or the carriers of unusual pathogens. Envelope. Once you take this envelope, there's no turning back. Intruder. Or am I in the house with an intruder? Unwanted. Not yet, but I can remove unwanted hair from 2 miles away. Characteristic. Well, grunted Penny. Your secondary sexual characteristics. Caption. You know. Thanks for closed captioning my pain. Raj. Hoop. To just haul off and hoop the crazy out of him? Eyelash. Okay. For the final touch. This is an eyelash curler. Diminish. Okay. Listen. I don't mean to diminish what you're going through. Appetite. What do you recommend for someone who worked up a man-sized appetite? Endeavor. Well, this entire endeavor seems to have been an exercise in futility. Butler. My only friends would be my genetically engineered monkey butler. Socialize. Where she could socialize with other lonely people. Bishop. Where the bishops can also move like knights. Mat. So, everybody grab a plate and a pretty placemat that Shelley wove. Penicillin. Yes, I'd like a 7-day course of penicillin. Medieval. She loves medieval literature. Chaucer's her favorite. Glitter. Thanks, but I don't like glitter on my scrambled eggs. Inconvenience. Oh, no, thank you. I don't want to be an inconvenience. Talented. Played by talented character actor Frank Gorshin. Badge. Where he says he got caught using someone else's badge. Surgeon. The possibility that an inattentive surgeon. Victim. Or have I fallen victim to marketing hype? Conquer. Well, we're thinking a divide and conquer approach here. Satisfied. Well, my wife is 4'10" and sexually satisfied. Smuggle. That she smuggled out of occupied Belgium in a cat. Troop. Sure, if you consider being fragged by your own troops fun. Pleasing. There's just no pleasing you, is there, Leonard? Over here. By the way, I couldn't help overhearing your big finish. Enrage. Cause when you talk, it enrages people. Confound. Cause you don't even work with confounding variables. Bossy. There was a bossy wife, though. Alright. I'm going out tonight. I'm feelin' alright. Lovemaking. You're having trouble with the long-distance lovemaking. Realistic. I'm going to be more realistic and go after someone my own speed. Eternal. It was at that moment, I vowed eternal hatred for Will Wheaton. Condemn. Will condemn us for not taking this opportunity to kill Sheldon. Visionary. Unfortunately you have to be a visionary to see it. Centimeter. A boulder has a diameter greater than 25.6 centimeters. Scarf. Pulling rainbow scarves out of his fly. Casino. There's an Indian casino near Palm Springs. Smudge. Look, I have a grease smudge on my hand, and I'm okay with it. Reflection. A combination of the moon's solar reflection. Depict. There's going to be a scene depicting Spock's birth. Martial. That's a court-martial offense. Cryogenic. Get a cryogenic centrifugal pump and molecular sieve? Centrifugal. Get a cryogenic centrifugal pump and molecular sieve? Wedge. A Cuba Libre traditionally comes in a tall glass with a lime wedge. Recycle. And Rick said you could bring in your old one to recycle it. Floppy. Okay. Who had Leonard gets a floppy disk? Disk. Can hold his breath longer than the disk can spin. Opener. It's colloquial. A conversation opener. Functional. They're functional and aesthetically pleasing. Pasta. And you said there'd never be enough pasta for the 3 of us. Housewarming. Hey, I just wanted to bring you a little housewarming gift. Lackey. You'd think a guy like that would have some kind of booze. Lackey. Messy. The Mandelbrot set of complex numbers is a little messy. Overwhelmed. She's been a little overwhelmed at work. Brilliance. My brilliance and innovation. Of course. But still. Maniac. What kind of maniacs have coitus in someone else's bedroom? Marijuana. Makes me miss my marijuana abusing flatworms. Topical. At the topical conference on Bose-Einstein condensates. Culinary. I put him through culinary school. Screenwriting classes. Missing. And, also, you don't account for the missing mass in the universe. Piano. In a world where a piano is a weapon, not a musical instrument. Crossover. The original series Trouble with Tribbles crossover episode? Laxative. Also, curry is a natural laxative, and I don't have to tell you. Pseudo. There should be no value to his pseudo-celebrity here. Inaccurate. A room full of inaccurate depictions of Polynesian religion. Salute. It's a salute to swing music in the center court near Macy's. Surgical. Distinguished surgical resident at Fremont Memorial. Asymmetrical. Because our friendship is fundamentally asymmetrical. Programming. Yeah. This is your vice president of programming. Rarely. If it'll make you feel better. We rarely listen. Generator. And helped me set up this high-frequency tone generator. Tilt. When I tilt it, her bathing suit falls right off. Pedantic. Okay, not to be pedantic, but last I checked. Accelerate. Accelerating backwards through time is fascinating. Irritable. Well, I can understand how that would make someone irritable. Twitter. According to their Twitter feed, they're out of sunblock. Destruct. Captain Kirk activated the self-destruct sequence. Additionally, I'm being blackmailed with a hidden dirty sock. Morale. I can keep up morale with my wacky sense of humor. Dim. He's hoping to see Epsilon Eridani dim, which would be undress. Commercial where the women undress when they smell it. Slang. If that was slang, I'm unfamiliar with it. Hardy. Well, little lady, you've heard of Party Hardy. Olympics. Who wanted to get beer pong into the Olympics? Retainer. Age 12. A magpie tries to steal the retainer out of my mouth. Thou. Why hast thou forsaken me, O deity whose existence I doubt? Refrain. And carry me around the cafeteria. Please refrain. Substitute. Albino Bob couldn't make it, so I brought a substitute. Moody. We're not allowed to pout or be moody on date night. Corduroy. Okay, well, I guess we're back to the corduroy suit. Shiny. By Neil Armstrong does qualify as a shiny object. Sweep. Fence mended. Problem swept under the rug. Neutron. All right. A neutron walks into a bar and asks, "How much for a drink?" Learning. This is a complex battle simulation with a steep learning curve. Memorize. All right. I cared enough to memorize that stupid joke, but that's all I care. Calmly. All right. If you're gonna calmly make excellent points, add, are you the physicist that placed the ad on Craigslist? Prescribe. So the doctor prescribed Nizoral and it blocked enzyme action. Predicate. Excuse me, your entire argument is predicated on the assumption. Warlord. All right, Raj has played his Phantom Warlord card. Eating. All right, standard state fair pie eating contest rules are elaborate. But to elaborate, I'm going to the Arctic Circle. Climbing. Rock climbing club. Archery. Flag football. Classify. You realize if the military declares our research classified. Ridge. Now push your third finger along the ridge of the shoulder blade. Beard. Also, that's the same day that he shampoos his beard. Sabbath. We're not supposed to drive or carry anything on the Sabbath. Drum. Although he may have just been trying to drum up business. Repellent. Although repellent is kind of a strong word. Elbow. Elbow macaroni with ground hamburger and tomato sauce. Ultimate. Amazing Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man. Devil. Between a screaming devil. This mean little skull. Beast. Apparently, you are a magnificent beast. Affectionate. To have affectionate feelings for her. Compelling. To make this game even more compelling. Shortly. The artist killed himself shortly after painting that shaft. Amy, how is this big glass shaft going to aid our marriage? Magnitude. Secondly, Star Trek I is orders of magnitude worse. Derive. Here's where we derive the mass of the dark matter particle. Exposure. But plenty of things are addictive after a single exposure. Escort. You know, when they were escorting us to the detaining room. Espresso. Told you you shouldn't have espresso after dinner. Outsource. An Indian guy outsourcing a computer job to a white fella. Hatred. It was at that moment I vowed eternal hatred for Will Wheaton. Defy. I defy you to name a train that I don't like. Bronze. You can't slay the guard captain with a bronze dagger. Prowess. And according to Beverly, his sexual prowess is subpar. Afterward. And afterward, I'll take you all out for Chinese. Torch. Raj and I will get the oxyacetylene torch. Irrational. Yes, but you didn't portray her as completely irrational. Expel. I can hear you metabolizing oxygen and expelling carbon dioxide. Canal. And hatch larvae in my auditory canal. Estimate. The one that estimates the odds making contact with the extraterrestrials. Rot. And celebrate it by sacrificing a goat to the mighty god Rot. Troubled. Oh, troubled history, but I hope that when I make my request. Linear. To a linear understanding of time and causality. Font. And thousands of fonts, but you don't hear me complaining. Fingerprint. I never would have identified the fingerprints of string theory. Obese. And eat it until we're all obese. Garlic. In fact, take a picture of me with the garlic knots to send them. Absorb. Starch absorbs fluid which reduces the amount of vomit. Extraordinary. And grunted. There are aspects of you that are extraordinary. Accolade. Sometimes people have trouble accepting accolades. Tiresome. What about tiresome lunatic with a bad haircut? Sabbatical. I'm taking a sabbatical because I won't kowtow to mediocre minds. Frequency. And helped me set up this high-frequency tone generator. Terrified. And honestly I'm a little terrified of her. Nitrogen. And hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen and rhenium. Tempt. Otherwise, you're cruelly tempting them with a glimpse. Combat. Was to defend the bride and groom in combat. Slug. To slug back a bottle of champagne when I pretended to pee? Concentration. And I need you to marshal your powers of concentration. Terribly. I'm terribly sorry that I upset your mother. Sue. Oh, boy. Am I gonna get sued? Triumph. Which means his triumph will be even larger. Donut. I know when you go for a run, you stop for a donut. Evaluate. We would evaluate either the success or failure of the date would be based. Advise. And I'm gonna advise that you shut your mouth right now. Perfume. And I'm sorry, but you're wearing more perfume than I am. Liability. Are you suggesting a limited liability corporation? Cargo. And I'm wearing cargo shorts under my pants. Viral. They've been doing some viral videos online. Replacement. And if so, should we be interviewing for a replacement? Melon. And if they're not clean, then your books smell like melons. Hesitate. And if you see any of them, don't hesitate to call. Depressing. What I'd like is for him to have a more depressing home. Lipstick. Don't try to put science lipstick on your new age pig. Stereotype. It's a stereotype that you feed them peanuts. Ridiculously. Well, the light bulb in this oven is ridiculously bright. Hopelessly. I do. And you'll fall hopelessly in love and give her your heart. Crab. And it's not because the crab cakes are funky. Efficiency. That could improve photosynthetic efficiency? Viable. And keep in mind that no is a perfectly viable answer. Foreigner. Is when Howard convinced him that foreigners give presents. Lying. Yeah. Lying isn't my favorite part of the job. Metaphorical. Leonard is trying to walk a mile in my metaphorical shoes. Keynote. The keynote address is being delivered by George Smoot. Dandruff. They spent a ton of money developing this dandruff medication. Slogan. It's like the slogan says, the physics is theoretical. Comb. I did not mean to gaze upon you as you comb your hair. In fact, and you'll never guess who's here infecting my entire station. Celebration. And now it is time to complete your birthday celebration. Commencement. Leonard, have you ever given a high school commencement speech before? PE. If my PE teachers had told me this is what I was training for. Assorted. We have 128 assorted penny blossoms ready to ship. Banjo. I'm not sure how listening to other 9-fingered banjo players. Operation. Commence Operation I wouldn't wanna be ya. Rapid. Howard. I got the approval for the rapid prototyper you wanted. Villain. His feelings with the other psychotic villains. Shack. While my wife was back home shacking up with a 2-bit ornithologist. Lotus. I can practically smell the lotus blossoms woven into your ebony hair. Controller. There are far more dreentists than air traffic controllers. Remarkably. Leonard comes from a remarkably high-achieving family. Saturn. How is I? Deep Space Nine. I better than I. Saturn 3. I. Gardener. How about Captain America's undocumented Mexican gardener? Chef. But when she began cheating on me with a French chef. Pun. With the names bent into tortured puns. Obstacle. And some of those obstacles are gonna feel like boulders. Mobile. And spent the rest of his life as a mobile dog groomer. Symmetrical. But from another vantage point, they're symmetrical.